This dude's on the row right in front of us, about to take off. It's awesome.
Hell yeah! Woo!
Alright boys, here we go. This is Mideast Harescrambles, round 12 at the airport. I was really just coming to do a seat time race. I wasn't really looking to, place super high. I just wanted to work on passing, and I needed to ride some more go fast stuff, so that's what I'm out doing. I ran the morning Sportsman BC class, and it was stacked. There was a ton of people, 41 people in that row. So it was heavy with the traffic. So I want to say something. The dude behind me, you can hear him yelling and revving and screaming and whatever. This is a morning BC race. There's no reason for that. I get you're all hyped up, but calm the fuck down. Because this dude on the left that's on the ground, the guy behind me actually ran over his bike. There's no reason for that. And I'm all for yelling and all hoot and holler. I do it to this guy. But at some point you gotta realize you're in the morning, you're not the pro dude. And then when we get around all the traffic, he disappears. He's not on my ass anymore. He's just gone now because we're in the sand whoops going towards this hill climb. Just a PSA, if you're in the morning race and you're not faster than everybody on the lap, calm down, it'll be okay. So this airport track is kind of notorious for this hill climb CF that happens almost every time they do this race. And a friend of mine, Jared, had put up a video where he passed 40 dudes all just sitting waiting in line. So yellow handguards there is the guy who was revving and screaming. He's still whatever, just all up my ass. This hill climb wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't bad at all. It was just a kind of muddy hill. And I got pushed off to the side. I guess this right hand was a go-around. I didn't realize it. I wanted to do the hill climb, and so I'm just going to slide over. That's where I wanted to go. It was a clusterfuck. I don't know what was going on. I mean, it was just so many people all on it, and then you get one guy messed up, but then everybody ends up messed up. But it was jamming up some fast people, so it was first lap, jitters. I don't know exactly, but this place in this hill climb is gnarly. Sorry to that guy. I was going to go over through the woods and then I got stuck. Just decided to hang out. If this was my proper class and I was racing for points, because this is a no points class also, I would be in more of a rush to get out of this, but I wasn't that concerned. I was just going to politely wait my turn. It's just chaos. Just chaos. Yeet. That was one of the best things I saw all day. The dude's name is Darren Rathbone. I looked him up. Beauty of having a new GoPro is that the image stabilization is so good that I can isolate stuff like that, so I can see the number on the side of his helmet when he shot himself into the air.
What a clusterfuck!
It was a clusterfuck. So this is my third lap, I believe. I came into scoring on the second lap in 7th, and then moved my way up to 2nd and stayed in 2nd for the rest of the race. They had some computer error, so I thought I had actually won this race. It actually looked like I was out by 2 minutes, which isn't bad. We still had a stacked class, so I ended up 2nd in morning BC out of 41. But it's a Mideast course, so it's going to have a lot of four-wheeler wide go-fast stuff. But here, on the first lap, they had us go down the hill, and then this time they shot us into this tight wood section, and it was actually, proper tight woods. And it's funny to watch the guys who are all Mideast racers who don't do a lot of, you know, tight single track. They'll go super, super, super fast, and then you hit the woods and they park. And this was really tight woods. This was like Sumter Enduro tight. And it was still funny to watch some guys who were really, really fast just park it when the trees get close to you. And this is tight enough that there weren't really a lot of places to pass, so I hoot and yell at these guys. I'm just trying to get them to keep moving instead of stopping, because one lap I did come through and there were like 4 guys in this trail just stopped, which leaves you nowhere to go. And I don't want to sit around. I'm not going to. So the whole idea that you're stopped in the middle of the single track, at least get to where you can pull off just a tiny bit, because whoever's going to make it by you just needs a bar width. That's all we need. Actually had a lot of fun on this course. It was really good weather, mid-70s, you know, a little cool in the morning in the 50s. Like I said, big class, which made it kind of fun because I need the passing practice, and I've got to work on being more aggressive for longer, so I've got to work on the, you know, pushing the whole time. This is that same hill climb, whatever lap this is, 3 I guess. And you can see the big difference between, you know, there's no traffic, it's just a hill climb. It's not that bad. And versus first lap when there's just bodies and bikes everywhere. In the afternoon, they apparently ran it through a different hill climb that was rocky and super gnarly, that even the pro guys were having issues getting up. I never really saw it, but I do know that there was a rocky downhill that we missed this year that I'm thinking is what they went up. There hadn't been much rain, but this place is notoriously wet in a couple spots. It's there where I just went through. There's one other giant mud hole that I actually end up messing up the route and then going through this big mud hole, and then this other creek section up here where it's just the beginning of the big mud hole you just saw me go through. Other than that, it was slick on top and it never really dried out. And then you'd go out into like a field area and it would be dusty for just a second, but it was still enough to keep you on your toes. I only had one real crash, and it wasn't even that bad. It was just over accelerating into a flat corner that was all full of mud and just kind of spin out and fall down. I watched plenty of people just fully throw themselves into stuff, into trees and things, because they were over accelerating through the corners. You should be kind of, not timid, but you had to be kind of purposeful with how you were doing your inputs on the flat corner, because you would spin. I was looking at the times. If I would have run Vet B, I think I would have been in second Vet B. I just really don't enjoy running the afternoons in the Mideast races just because of how long it takes. Mideast is generally on time with their starts, but like, unlike North Carolina, where North Carolina is usually late, but it's, you know, riders' fault, their fault, whatever. Mideast is usually on time. There were so many people at this race signing up that they had to push the start back to 11:30 instead of 11. In the afternoons, it's just too. It starts at 1, so 1:30. You're done by 3. Not terrible, but in the winter, when it's, you know, daylight savings time, you get trapped there till it can be, you know, 5:30 or 6 before you're leaving, which means it's dark. I just don't feel like being there that long, so I'll run the morning as long as I can. It's fun to go to these courses and run it in the morning anyways, because then you get the fresh track and get to play with the passing practice kind of stuff. That idea that I was trying to push the whole time, I was really trying to make it a point to stay a gear lower than I felt like I needed to be, so I keep the bike screaming a little bit, and then really get on it in the open sections. And here, you know, I'm stuck in traffic, but you come through here a couple times, there'd be nobody in the way, so you can really hammer on. Focus on making good line choices and not making stupid little mistakes that are just going to cost you time. That pass bugs me a little bit because it's one of those, you know, slow down and checkpoint places. It's not that big a deal, but if it was a points class, I might be a little bit more annoyed for getting past in a scoring area. The other thing I was doing is that if I would get somebody who would go past me, like that guy who passed me a second ago, who's now accelerating through this group of people, I was trying to stick with these guys, or, you know, get to the point where I could pass them, because I need to work on going fast, and which is why I'm doing these Harescrambles. It's especially since I'm not following the series. I like to see if I can, you know, keep this speed and manage the race at this speed. And it did okay. It's just something I need to work on. So the really tight sections I was talking about, they had them dispersed throughout the course, and this one was an odd, just little interim section. It's like they were trying to add distance to the course, and it was not too tight, but it was almost tighter than it needed to be. It could have been a little bit more open. I'm saying that liking tight stuff, like I don't mind this, but for what it was in the course, it caused some issues. It seemed like a afterthought almost. Also, it was like they needed to add, you know, 0.2 of a mile or something like that, so they stuck us in this little tight section. That kind of passing is what I'm talking about. I don't like waiting around. I'm not going to get stuck in a bottleneck. I don't want to sit and wait for somebody's turn. I'm going to go. And I can respect if you're going to jump out in front and keep going. It's how I'm going to ride. I just don't want to sit and wait for somebody to get out of the way. I'm going to make a way through if possible. This section, I actually realized later on that you could berm that whole outside left turn and really rail into this section and get past the people. I think I passed somebody every lap through that part of the course. Later on, some hotlines got developed. You can see one of them had already been run through there. It's kind of intimidating getting stuck in this stuff when some really, really fast guys come through. I'm not particularly slow at single track, like I enjoy it, but when you get some of the leader guys through here, you realize how much faster they are, even in the morning race, because they're, you know, the Masters A guys or the people who are going to overall the race. You get them behind you and they start hooting and yelling. You can tell that they are faster than you are, and there's no real way to get out of the way in this stuff. There's another part of me just trying to stay on the gas and not get comfortable where I am. I was trying to actively pass this guy in front of me, and I didn't want to let him get away too far, because if I had the chance to capitalize, I needed to do it. This is the last section before scoring. I always like this little area. It's just a little, you know, woods run kind of thing. I don't know why. It's just the aesthetic, I guess. I like the way it looks and the way it rides. It's just a nice section. It's always in the airport race. So I ended the day second out of 41 in Sportsman BC and 34th overall. It was a good day. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of got some experience, learned what I needed to do a little better, practice some go fast. I hope you guys enjoy the video. See you next time. Peace.